not forget to subscribe, especially if you're on YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe. Subscribe, hit the button, subscribe, hit the button.
Go, man.
15 minutes with Rudi Lickwood and DJ Countryman.
I'd like you to say who you think Junior would more than likely want to do a duet with.
Oh,
it's Dionne Warwick in the top left, isn't it?
Yes,
I was trying to work out who he was then.
Dionne Warwick.
Is that Tina Turner as well?
Yes, that's right.
Turner, Mary Jane.
Who are you going for, country?
Anyone we're out here picking.
He's going with Althea. Want to reveal? And wait, hold on. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Go.
Right. If I ever had the chance, unfortunately, I'll never get that chance. But it would have been Aretha.
I told ya.
It would have been Aretha.
No.
Okay.
That was a very good.
Well done, Althea.
Saturday mornings, gonna be the same again.
Films. I mean, films are a lot easier than theatre.
Right.
Film and television a whole lot easier than theatre.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned that. I did a play once called Johnny Dollar. It was a reggae musical. And I used like Peter Onengale, Sylvia Teller, Toyin Adekayali, Winsome, Neville Morrison, Winston Reedy. The whole of the Lovers Rock singers. They never act before. And everybody was scared, but because of musical, they said, no, I need them for the music. And they can tell you, man, once them late into the play, you know, it was one of the best play. You know, when them late into the play, the acting, Peter Onegale, wow, he can tell you, stunning performance.
We love looking after young people and just basically helping them in their football development. The academies look after all the senior kids, all the elite kids, and we look after everyone else.
This is what gives me the most joy, watching them not being able to kick a ball, and then 6 months later they're able to do things they never envisioned them doing.
A lot of people are focused on the footballer, and then when the talent doesn't manifest in the way that the coach may like it to buy,
it's giving back to the community. I've been working for the community all my life, and this is a big part of it, just giving back.
It's time to spice up your food with One Shot Marinade, the authentic Caribbean seasoning.
What did you have to do?
It was essentially the male equivalent of a female beauty competition. Thousands came, for the final. It was just a really, really uplifting event.
I'd be up for it for a laugh.
Peter, you're silent.
You can't enter.
Shut your mouth, you.
You can't even see your feet when you look down to her.
Wow.
You man didn't know that.
I don't know if
we're running out of time.
Wait.
Time. Red card.
I must say, first of all, those who are on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to YouTube, our Anything Goes YouTube podcast. Then when we go live, you get notification.
This song, it was scary.
It's a warning.
it was a cassette. You know when you had to put the pencil into the hole? Yes, man.
To submit to you as a man or a woman, or do I continue to walk the righteous path and serve God? That's a personal, individual choice of a human being.
Well, straight away, that's, red flag. BAME community, why? Are we the guinea pigs now?
I feel like when you are speaking up for yourself, it should be unapologetic and it should be honest. I think that we all
So, for example, the West Indian community, there are many reasons why they may not, and you can probably tell me more than I know, but I think part of it is that they're being asked to trust the same structures that have also contributed to their discrimination, their abuse, their trauma.
Race. And I'm just thinking, well, there's more than that. I know, just having no dad and having to work out what it means to be a black man in the UK was a very, very difficult.
And if you ain't got enough to do it in your family, get 2 or 3 families together and start a business. We've got to be thinking like that now, because unemployment is going to be right throughout our community now. Right?
She's saying pie, that means that 8:15 is gone, man.
Morning. Good morning.
Hey,
How are we all, man? Oh my God. To my right, I have Miss Astrid Phillips, our coach. How you doing, Astrid?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm awake, young lady. I'm awake.
I'm glad.
That's good,
You didn't join me this morning, did you?
No. I was up a bit late last night, I must confess.
Oh.
Next to Astrid, we've got our co-host this morning, Miss Aston Matapha Jones. I got the name.
Mister.
I did say, did I not say Mister?
No, you said Miss.
Did you?
You can't be our Miss, no.
I'm sure I said Mister.
You said Mister.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Lescha underneath me. How you doing, darling?
I'm good, I'm okay. Hopefully there's no feedback.
And of course, next to her, we have one and only Miss Julie Juice. Or can I call you chocolate this morning?
You can call me chocolate. Dark, yeah?
Dark. Not like dark chocolate.
I don't like the term, but old Jamaica, I do like the chocolate. Old.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
rum and raisin. Oh,
yeah. More rum than raisin, yeah?
All right.
That was a nice dream for me.
I don't know what you mean.
Hey, more raisin. More raisin.
Don't know what you mean, that's all.
Well, it's good to see that you guys are so bright this morning.
Yeah, man.
We've got quite a few mornings coming in from the crew. Natasha's up bright and early. Morning, Kings. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Make sure Rudy gets you on the next one or an up-and-coming event. Hold on. That means that there was a conversation that was going on earlier on that I've missed.
Yeah, fantastic. It was a fantastic weekend. Listen, I put it on my TV and I just let it run, right?
Okay.
Every minute I'm just there and I'm taking down this person's email and contact, and I say, we never know so much business I go on, sir. Right? It was great because, I'm just sort of like say, all right, then I have to visit these places, what was suggested, and different businesses out there, but the websites were fantastic, man. Yeah.
Well, it was great.
Yeah.
It was a great job done by Natasha.
Natasha, well done.
Because Natasha set up a 24-hour show that we did on Saturday Gone, which was Black Pound. 24 hours, 12 a.m.
24 hours,
yeah.
Where she highlighted over 70 businesses between the times of
70.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Businesses were highlighted, and then we moved forward and we started to have longer interviews with various businesses throughout the day. I mean, one of them was yours, Lescha. Do you remember what we spoke about?
Yeah.
Yours as a cottage industry and ways in which people can pivot in these times of the lockdown.
Correct. Yeah. Definitely take advantage of the time that we've had.
Yeah, as well. Not only that fact, but the fact that people do have other skills that they could use other than just the going to work doing 9 till 5, because I know that Coach Astrid was working as well, but at the same time she was producing a book, several books as I recall. Remember that? Can you tell us a bit more about those books?
Yeah, so this time last year I was in the process, we've done it now, but I was in the process of writing a book called Stories of Truth and Triumph. And it was a book that sort of told a story about, even though you have some really hard and tough times, it's about what you do to get through that and come out the other side and come out even stronger and better the other side. But all the book, everything that's made on the book goes towards a charity for young people that are thinking suicidal thoughts, who have mental health challenges. So all the money that's raised goes towards that charity called Megan Space. And I was really, happy to write that, because, I was thinking to myself, I've always wanted to write a book. So here we go. I've killed 2 birds with 1 stone with that one book. And plus also I created my own notebooks as well.
Yes.
That are on sale on Amazon. So
I mean,
I'm
what we
really,
could
really
do,
chuffed about that.
as you say that, I'm actually looking for the book now because I should have it close at hand.
It's one of them. I don't know whether
there you go. There you go.
That's one of them.
Yes.
I've actually created 15 different notebooks, all of which have a different cover, so you can pick and choose what cover you want. I've also written some gratitude journals as well. So, and all of them are available on Amazon.
Yes, because I know that.
And I have my own page on Amazon as well. So yeah.
You know what might be a good idea? You put the details into the private chat.
Okay.
As well as your details, Lescha, and we can scroll it along the bottom. What do you think?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll do that for you. So no problem.
Yeah, and I think a big shout out has to go out to the Rants and Bants crew. Quite a few of you passed through to see what was going on in the 24-hour event. I'm sure you passed through with Dale, didn't you, Jules?
Oh yeah, I was there most of the day. Most of the day. While I was baking, it was great. I'm not going to say I wasn't baking. I was baking.
How did I know? I mean, Sharon has said it was an excellent event. She thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Loved Leona's take on life and the Bible, which was the uncomfy. What was it? Was it the uncomfy table? If I'm correct, Natasha. It was called the uncomfy table, which was quite an eye opener, I must admit, and quite challenging at the same time. And we learned so much from doing that 24-hour vigil that we've decided to move things around a bit and take note of some of the good things and some of the bad things that came in, which I thought was really good. It's always good to have a debrief, as they would say. So I've got to say big up to the Rants and Bants crew, and thank you very much for your support. It was much appreciated. Antigua says that she's got her notebooks, Astrid, just as a quick reminder to you.
Yay! Good. Thank you, Antigua.
She's actually got hold of it.
Good.
I think before we even, because there are a few topics that we're definitely going to cover. Of course, we have to cover the main one, so to speak. We can't ignore it.
Your birthday, my birthday.
No, my birthday. What are you talking about?
I have no idea what the main one is this week.
You've got no idea. Oh, come on, man.
Licks. Give us some.
this.
No,
Sorry.
So, do you know what? That's pathetic.
Tell her what to say. Go on.
Sorry.
That's Piers Morgan storming off the set of Good Morning Britain on Tuesday after his colleague, Alex Beresford, called him out on air.
Sorry, can't
This
do
is
this.
absolutely diabolical behaviour.
Piers has had a lot of stick over what many, I think, perceive to be his relentless bashing of Harry and Meghan. And you'll see if you follow him on Twitter, friends just will often tweet, just leave them alone. Well, Piers' argument is no. They don't want to be left alone. They're putting themselves in the public eye. And, you know, I'm going to go for them. And he has done repeatedly.
On Monday, Piers slammed the Duchess of Sussex on the morning show for her tell-all interview with Oprah Winfrey.
I'm sorry, I don't believe a word she says, Meghan Markle.
Well, that's a
I wouldn't believe it if she read me a weather report. And the fact that she's fired up this onslaught against our royal family, I think is contemptible.
Well, it was that tirade against Meghan and her husband, Prince Harry, that had Alex all worked up.
I understand that you don't like Meghan Markle. You've made it so clear a number of times on this program, a number of times. And I understand that you've got a personal relationship with Meghan Markle, or had one, and she cut you off. She's entitled to cut you off if she wants to. Has she said anything about you since she cut you off? I don't think she has, but yet you continue to trash her.
Yeah, so that didn't sit well with Piers, who got up from his seat and straight up walked off set.
Listen, 6:30 to 7 o'clock yesterday was incredibly hard to watch.
I think the feeling to Piers is quite simple over here in Britain. He's a bit like Marmite too. You either love him or you hate him. But Piers, he dishes it out. He's got to be able to take it too.
That's right.
Quite a lot of surprise when he took his mic off and stormed out the studio today.
I mean, my thing is,
getting a bit of a talking to or a
what are we gonna do, right? Now that he's gone, who are we gonna moan about? Who are we gonna have a dig at now? I mean,
he'll find a way back on somewhere, so he'll pop back up. Don't worry.
I
He
reckon
chose
they
to
should
leave, so he'll pop back up somewhere.
I reckon they should put Ian Wright in there.
That'll be fun.
That'd be hilarious.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I reckon.
Arsenal, I remember.
He should go on the uncomfy table. What do you reckon? He should go on the uncomfy table, which I know some of you might have seen, not seen the uncomfy table. But I mean, yeah, I mean, who are we now? Because I mean, he was a good reason for me to get up and start shouting at the television.
I don't shout at the telly for any reason.
I didn't watch it, to be fair, but within just 5-10 minutes, it went streaming. It went absolutely everywhere. So I almost felt like I'd watched it live because it was just, it was that rapid. It was the first thing that I'd ever seen that so quickly stream viral.
Everywhere,
like, madness.
Yeah.
No, man, I was all over it, man. I must have rewind it about several times, man. I think a question worth asking though is it racist to ask about the child's color, considering that Major Hewitt's son Harry, right, is.
Are we determined to say that?
Hold on.
Just because he's got ginger hair.
Major Hewitt's son Harry, right, is ginger. And
a little bit more radical, though, isn't he, Harry? He's not as subdued as the others.
And then
he never has been.
You got Meghan with that one drop of black blood inside of her.
She's not one drop. Her mum's black. Why is everybody calling her a one drop?
One drop, exactly.
She's not
her
a
mum
one. She
is
dance.
black. Her mum
they keep
is black.
saying it, isn't it?
Everybody keeps saying, "Feel it in the one drop." Her mum's black.
Feel it. Well, they're saying that what was my point again? Yeah, the fact that
asking
you know, was it right or was it wrong? Was it racist to actually say or to question what complexion the child was going to eventually have? What are your thoughts?
I believe it's racist. I believe it's racist because
why would you ask the question of their
why would you ask the
children
question
and you wouldn't ask anybody else?
Yeah,
it's extremely insensitive, man. Very
Exactly.
extremely insensitive. Because like even with us as like black couples, right? Most of our children come out in various tones, you know, and like after a while the man settle down and he say, all right, yeah, all right then, and then you see the characteristics come true. But why? No, that one there hit him straight from the beginning, because remember, he's first of all he's in a bad way, because you know how the English go on about their copperheads, right?
Yeah.
He's on a loser straight away, right? And then obviously he's going to be mixed race, so he's going to come out like Malcolm, innit? It's going to be a Malcolm X. Simple.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? So, you understand? So where are they going to stand? How are they going to stand with that? Huh? I hope, in all honesty, I hope that young man grows up to be a nice, decent young man and come very influential, and then come back and put his knee on their neck and then say, yo, see me there.
That is a very good analogy.
I actually do like that.
And the thing is as well, if the royal family last for him to grow up and actually be able to do that.
No. I will keep them going. Don't worry until that day.
Oh, you'll keep them going. All right then.
I'll keep them going. Watch out.
But I think part of the issue of asking a woman who suddenly is in conception of a child what color your child is going to be, or indicate that to the father, is something that is making you believe that the royal family are only concerned about the aesthetics of people. So if that's the case, then actually what they're saying is we don't want anybody that's seriously off color. And so
isn't that why they ran out the Moors in the first place?
Absolutely.
Being termed as being a black man, isn't that all part of the Renaissance when they whitewashed history? Was to eradicate black.
Yeah, but then
listen, one thing.
One minute, Aston. Sorry, Lescha.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say Queen Charlotte. I don't really need to contribute anymore in regards to, we don't need to go that far back in regards to what they've done or how they've conducted themselves. And I will just leave it there. I'll just say that I wasn't surprised by what the outcomes and what's happened. I think the only sad part of it for me is the division, even more so now in this country. I don't really care about anywhere overseas as such, but definitely the division more so in this country.
Okay.
Even not too long ago, remember Margaret, right?
Yeah.
She was exiled out to Jamaica, where she go live with her man.
Yeah.
She take herself and go live with her man in Jamaica, right? So, them things is a regular movement.
Exactly.
Regular movement.
The younger sibling is always the one who's a bit outrageous, who's not heir to the throne, so they could be a little bit more out there with regards to what they do, how they do, all of that kind of thing. So you're right, Aston, when you say about Margaret, you say about Harry,
Andrew.
it happens.
Well,
Andrew's the middle one, but
don't shout that name.
Let's not put them in the same sentence,
We'll get to the paedophile in a minute. We'll get to the paedophile.
Let's not.
Before the guy just go over to America and deal with the team, yeah? So
Or find an island.
Hold on.
Taking over there from time.
One of the other big things now, right? I am so glad, right, that when they went there, just to rub it in their face a little bit more, a black man stepped up, Perry, right, and say, "Yo, come and stay in one of my places."
Yes,
Tyler
right?
Perry.
And don't worry, I've got you covered.
I've got your back. Yeah,
I've got your security.
Not only that, I'll pay security.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
But they're denying it now, aren't they? So Prince William has come back and said no one in the royal family is racist. It's taken them 3-4 days to work up that sentence to say that no one's racist.
You know what I struggle with? I struggle with how they could actually sit in Buckingham Palace, right, and say they're not racist when the entire empire is built on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The entire empire is, and it's like we're meant to sit down there like we're stupid and don't know how they came to be. It's like it never happened. Like all of a sudden we're okay. All of a sudden we're no longer German. I need to change our name now. You know what I mean? So that yeah, but we know the history. I mean, this is the whole internet in a sense, bringing them down in the terms of information coming in the way that it has done, and even lockdown turning everything on its head because people are now communicating, men are now talking in a way that they didn't before. Yeah. And we just had International Women's Day on Monday. And feet the oh my God, ladies, Jesus Christ, man, your voice is like it's coming
sorry,
up.
That was another lady there. Sorry.
Good morning, Britain. How?
Come on now.
Woo!
Yes. Lick's a liar.
In the last hour. It's honestly, you're such a liar and a disgrace.
I love her.
You talk about the interview. You trash me every time you come on. You trash me every time you come on, which is exactly what you were.
Shut up and let the girl finish.
Something to say about the interview.
Let me finish. You bring out coverage about Meghan and Harry on their wedding day and the engagement, but conveniently forget to show the coverage before they got engaged, between the engagement and the marriage. So you conveniently forget that Prince Harry in November 2016 talked about the racist undertones of the media. You conveniently forget all of that to paint this picture that all was rosy and hunky-dory. Nonsense. And then you are lording over the Queen. Listen, by all means, let's applaud the Queen when she does something right. But when she does something wrong, we need to call her out.
What does she do wrong? What does she do wrong?
Grandmother. Let me finish.
Shut your mouth.
To her grandson, Harry. But then not use her power and influence as queen to protect them from the racist media coverage.
I find what you're saying about the Queen actually disgraceful. I find what you're saying, you're entitled to your opinion, Shola. I find, sorry, no, I'm allowed to respond to what you
She said, let her finish.
Listen, you family as an institution.
Listen, you might learn something.
Exactly.
White supremacy and racism.
Come on.
There. So you're now surprised that a comment would have been made by several members of the royal family about how dark Archie's
skin is. It's not several members, actually. No, you can't spew lies.
All right. Harry and Meghan.
Are we allowed to engage in any of this?
Let me finish.
Well, you're not stopping.
That Harry and Meghan had the audacity to speak
Shut her up.
at the outrage of racism.
Right, okay. Am I allowed to respond to this?
When she finishes.
You can respond now.
Okay.
Oh, you're allowed.
I love it. I love it.
You're allowed.
She was on point, man. She was on point.
Oh, she's good. Love her. Love her.
Allow me to defend our
preach, sister, preach.
Pierce.
Yeah,
exactly.
Quick.
Bye. See you later.
This man, this.
My husband, 99, is my fourth week.
He can't handle a strong woman who knows her stuff and goes against him.
Everybody, come on, let's just stay calm.
Watch out now. Come in there.
So I'd like to finish my sentence, please.
Any omissions of conduct
I would like to finish my sentence.
Has done that has perpetuated racism. You don't cover it up.
Can I please finish my sentence?
You have to call her out when she's done something wrong.
I'm going to finish my sentence now. If you stop shouting at me. Here's the finish of my sentence.
You too.
She looked fierce as well, didn't she?
She wasn't
fierce as well. She looked stunning. So that whole thing about being concerned about how black looks, that's how it looks stunning.
Yes.
That's how it looks.
I can imagine all the crew behind going.
Now, all my white males, my white male friends out there, do you see what we go through? Do you see?
Exactly.
You see what we
You're funny. You're funny.
It's like a cussing from your parent, you know, when you say, "But mum, listen to me. I have not finished." But mum, when I say something, I'm like, whoa. I went back there.
Exactly.
Kind of felt like my mum was saying something to me. Yeah. Wow, funny.
No, but I you know
it
what?
was inspiring. It was inspiring.
Yeah,
it
right.
was for sure.
Look at this.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, come on, Donna. Tell him again. Yeah. Shut up, Rudi.
Shut up, man. You see what I mean? Can I finish my sentence, please? Can I finish?
Oh, hilarious. Hilarious.
Oh, dear.
You tore him and you batty crease. That's what his bottom was bleeding by the time he got to Alex, man. The weatherman just opened it up even more. You understand what I'm saying? He even opened it up. Because, I mean, I've sat down and I've watched Piers Morgan just badger people into why are they not taking the vaccine, badger all the politicians. And on one level, you kind of feel, yeah. But he's trying to, it's almost like he knows where public opinion lies because obviously he writes in the newspaper and he can see where it's going, right? And it was like he was trying to run the government from a position of no responsibility. You know, because my question was, if you really had the responsibility that bungling Boris had, would you really have done any better? Because even when Obama went into the White House, there was already legislation in place. There was already policies that was in place.
Right, that they had to follow through.
Thank you.
And it's just lip service, isn't it? Obama and Boris, they're just playing lip service. That's why Theresa May got run out, because she just couldn't do it correctly, and they'd already had Boris in the waiting, you know, and so we got just literally lip service.
The perfect puppet. Yeah, man.
And they're having to cut his hair because he's just looking so bedraggled. He's having to have a haircut because he's just looking even worse than normal. Just
but even with the haircut, he still looks bad.
It just looks so withdrawn and so it just looks like he's had a really bad year every day.
Every day.
I think they've got quite a cheek actually discussing the tone or shade of somebody's skin color, because have you seen the way some of them look? Like some of them look green, some of them look purple, some of them they look really ill. Some members of that family, more than anything. So some of them look
haggard, man. They look haggard. They look.
Yeah. But I mean, just to throw a little bit of controversy out there, I know that within my community, growing up over the years, my dad's a lot darker than me, and my mum's quite a lot fairer than me, to the state that she potentially looks like she's mixed race, but she's just a very, very fair Jamaican person.
Yeah.
But when we have babies in our community or young, the first thing we do is go and look at their ears.
Yes.
Because you know that your ears are a slightly different shade, perhaps from the rest of you, and then you're going to kind of even out. If that makes sense, you're going to catch up to the shade of your ears. So I'm not saying that it's not racist, but we actually do it within our own community.
Well, that's why I think that's why I brought back that that question. And the only person brave enough to stick their head up was Sinai. What is it? Sorry, here you go.
Yeah, she said it's not racist though. Yeah, I mean, to question something, I get it. That's just a level of your own fears and your own, you know, lack of understanding, really and truly, to be able to. It's an ignorant question to ask. I don't know if it's racist. I think
that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. I don't. I think when you thought racism, we're talking about systems, right? And we're talking about placing one race above another, saying that we're better than. But
however,
I honestly did not pick that up, right? I picked up the curious side of it. And on one level, when Morgan was trying to point that out, but we already know where he's coming from, right? So it was him, the person that was really being called racist. right? But the actual question that was being asked, yeah, I mean, was that actually racist?
I do hear what you're saying. I do, but I also believe that the royal family have power, and so actually they need to be mindful of the statements that they make to anyone, because racism, as you say, is about discrimination with power. Therefore, and the fact that they've not made Archie a prince, but he's prince by blood, is something that would make you think, well, why does he not own that right when it is his birthright in the very words of the royal family? So I do believe that the connotations and the undertones that they had were racist, because why would you ask the question in the first place? Just wait till the baby's born.
I hear you, because the thing is that was one of the main points that Pierce was trying to pin down, especially when it came to Alex, where he said it's a fact that this young royal is, in actual fact, does have a title, but then at the same time, Meghan was saying that's not so. So she allowed us in to see what was going on behind the closed doors. So when we consider what the whole is actually built up on, that's why I think just came out a case of no, this is just racism, because they are using the power against a little child, as you pointed out, Judy. But I just thought we should just explore that just a little bit more, which we have done, obviously, but. The whole point of me showing the clip with Shola was basically just to show how far the black female has come in terms of her voice, in terms of yes,
let me clear my throat.
Her position, in terms of all the things that your DNA ladies have been through, the struggle of it all, and now you're in that position of power. Somebody's got their because the thing is that men are seen as the threat. Women were not seen as a threat, and why has it turned around and bite them?
Because we've had enough. We've stopped being quiet now.
Start
We're
looking
going
at
to
that
have
whole
our
race.
piece and have our say.
Start looking at that whole race argument. The white man does not want anything the same as them, so they won't have a white woman up there because she's white, and they won't have a black man up there because of the male thing. Therefore, just by acquiescence, they enable the black woman to step up because they don't see her as an equal. So they will listen to her voice, but they will keep the black man and the white woman down because they don't see the black woman as a challenge. However, what they didn't envisage is just how powerful we are, and just how strong we are, and just how articulate we are. So in actual fact, somebody like Dr. Shola challenging Pierce as she did, she had the confidence to keep challenging, and he actually elevated himself to quite a height because he was just so annoyed. Listen here, black woman, who are you talking to me like that? And she's going, shut up and wait your turn.
Did you use elevate? I thought he deflated.
No, his shoulders went up. That whole thing.
No. The physiology. What's the physiology of it all? Yeah.
He was angry. He was kind of like, what? What's going on?
If you notice his co-presenter, right? She was just leaning away.
Yeah. Very because kind of like, whoa, I'm not ready for this.
One thing is a woman that you're talking to, and then she's sitting there thinking, do I want this job or not? Or anything? I'm just gonna keep quiet. And then she tried to interject by saying, look, let's just calm down, right? No, that don't work, my white girl. This is a serious
the worst
thing.
two words you can say to anybody is calm down, because that just elevates them even more.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, please go on. No, that was me. I'm just looking for a clip at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah,
man.
It's
I have to say that taking advantage of this situation now, right? I have to applaud those two interjections in that subject there, right? but obviously it's a wider conversation out there. And I say, you know what, very, very good and very articulate representation of us as black people out there. And I say, well done. I commend both of them.
Trisha Goddard did the same. She called him out.
That's right.
Who are you to tell me what isn't racism? How do you suddenly become the expert?
That's right.
And that's part of the issue. How do white people who are the perpetrators of racism become the expert on what is racist when they're never subjected to that? Then suddenly it becomes all lives matter and not a colour thing. Really? It's just
or sexualized.
Yeah.
Or sexualized.
My thing is that they always take this position that they know better than everybody else, and they will say, "But the expert says." Yeah.
Who's white?
How do they know?
The expert is white, and what is a fact? Don't let me start talking about facts.
Please talk about the facts. Please talk about the facts. Please talk about
What is a fact?
Go on, Julie.
Who said it was a fact? Where did you get that confirmed that it is a fact? It is a saying that somebody else has agreed with. Is it a fact? Who said, by what definition? Because if a child picks up something and says it's green, we correct them. It might not. It might be green in their eyes. And then we suddenly start saying, well, we've been told that it's green. It's a colour. I'm like, don't start talking to me about facts.
Hey.
I think we've had to put that up with that for from I guess since 1492. I know that Lescha says we don't need to go so far back. There's so many examples that we can use today.
Too many.
Yeah, it's just for me. It's just where it's rooted. It's just the. I always go back to the root so you can say, well, this is where it's coming from. Right.
Yeah.
And that's why it's got to that point where we just conform to a certain degree and just go along with things. But then let's lighten it up just a little bit. Not too much, because I like where it is actually. I like it when it's hot like this. I like when it's making me
the power is
reminds me of that tension I feel when I'm up on stage and everyone's like, Rudi, don't go there, Rudi.
Rudi, go there.
Exactly.
I like it when it actually gets there. But Monday was International Women's Day, and how did you three ladies celebrate that?
For me personally, I did a couple of dedications to important women who have influenced me throughout my life. So not just my mum, and not just family members in that respect, other people within my circle. But this year I made a special tribute to two friends that I lost 2 to 3 years ago in their 40s. So for me, seeing their children and seeing their children have grandchildren, I'm privileged to be a part of a world that mum's not here to see anymore in that respect. So this year for me, it's all about memory, the memory and keeping those legacies alive of the women that did come before us, that have been taken too soon, and just make sure that we really do look after each other, especially health-wise, because we tend to hide what's going on before, and then it's too late. Nobody else can actually do anything. So I just encourage all women really to actually speak out. We're not moaning, and there is help as long as we let someone know that there's, something can be done. Let's find solutions together. So I'm not here to compete with anybody. I'm here to complete the cycle. Is where it is.
That almost sounds like you almost sounded like Tasha in a roundabout way when she says collaboration.
We have to. We're not islands. We are not. Although we come from all the different islands, if we go to go way back,
you smileys out there.
Smiling. You want me to cut your trot this morning? Don't let me bring out my ratchet,
Wow, that's salvation. I love it. All right then.
You celebrate on Monday at all, Jules?
We had an inspiring talk with the women that I work with about elevating them to appreciate how far they've come.
Could you please tell people what you do?
Yeah, I work with survivors of human trafficking.
Mhm.
So they've
Wow.
been trafficked in sexual exploitation, domestic servitude, and organ harvesting and forced marriages. So it was just about showing them that the journey isn't, even without the trafficking, a normal journey for anyone isn't a straight line. And so you can go backwards, go sideways to move forward. So yeah, it was just about elevating them and celebrating those that had come a long way in the time that I've been working with them.
Wow.
I mean, the thing is, this short period of time that we've had lockdown, I mean, everybody's lost so many people in such as, I mean, this is unprecedented. It's not surprising that Lescha would mention the 40-year-olds that's passed away, you know, and it is a sad thing to see. It's a sad thing to hear, you know, but we do have to live life and move forward at the same time and don't get stuck. That's my thing. Doesn't mean that, you know, I'm uncaring or anything like that. It's just like, please don't get stuck in this moment in time, because the sun always rises, you know, just like day and night, you know. But then for you, Monday, what did Monday represent for yourself, Astrid?
For me, it was about celebrating my mum, because she was my rock, and it's now been 11 years now.
Wow.
So just remembering her and honoring her. And then I spoke on a number of different platforms about, you know, for women, you know, how challenging it can be, but you know what we can achieve when we all work together. And rather than, you know, trying to bring each other down because we're in different places and we want to achieve stuff, it's about, you know, supporting each other to get to where we want to be. And it was more so about working together to achieve what we want, and speak your voice, speak your truth, rather than keeping quiet. And because it was quite odd actually, because when because I saw the interview that Megan did, and it came out kind of here on the 8th, on Women's Day. So, you know, I found that quite interesting, that it was actually released on International Women's Day.
Okay.
Where she was having her say and she was actually speaking her truth. So for me, it was this case, it was just a reflection for me of, you know, everything that, you know, we've achieved so far up until that day. Right. And then going forward, what to then take forward. Because I was actually on the platform that was done on the weekend, and I was talking about, you know, what things that are going to be happening, or what things I'm going to do going forward with regards to having a retreat for women, with regards to, you know, just all coming together and being able to work together to achieve what it is that we want to do, and how to go about doing that. Because there's a lot of women in the world who, not even in the world, in the UK, who don't have anybody to talk to, who don't have a voice, who don't put themselves out there. So it's about encouraging those people to actually speak out.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
once you saw Monday come along, what were your thoughts, Aston?
Well, you know something, I'm glad that they have this Women's Day, right? Mainly to highlight that that women are necessary in our society, right? Whether, you know, the role what they play is an obvious thing there, right? Obvious. We've always shown in our culture, we've always shown appreciation of our women, right? And in many ways, there's many a person, or the majority of us, have all relied upon a woman to raise us and sustain us through a life that has been oppressive anyway, right? So, you know, I say, boy, you know what? Salute, salute. Those
were there any females that came to your mind when Monday kind of struck?
Right. My ones are always like local ones, people who's actually influenced me directly, right? Obviously, number one is my mother, right? Lifesaver. My my others would be my African mother, or my mother Africa, which was my ex mother-in-law, right?
You're good, boy.
No. I'm gonna tell you, she showed me what a real African woman is.
Okay.
Yeah? And unfortunately, she's passed now, and I'm gonna say, even though like she was like single, right? But I'm gonna say that even for me, because I admire strong women. I that's my thing. I love strong women, right?
So you can take your eyes off
the way say.
Never mind.
You keep dropping these little things onto me. No, right? But like for me, right? When I was able to go there, like with my wife at the time, I was when we went there, and she was showing me like where she came from. And let me tell you something: when you think that a queen comes to town, my word, when the village, the whole area just shut down, and they were just giving her homage because of the things that she has done for them the years, and what she continues to do for them. And I go, oh my gosh, this is what I'm into. That is my introduction to real royalty. You understand?
I love
so
that.
I will leave it at that. There's many others like Junie Mahmood, Mental Health Association, things that has helped to create who I am right now. You understand? These are the women that have been influential in my life. Obviously my wives, my partner who I'm with now, holding me to a standard that, damn. I have to check myself every time I'm in her presence. You understand?
That actually sounded quite African there. You said my wives. I'm like, has he got a little harem going on?
No.
I understand.
Yeah.
You get it. I mean, the female that. I mean, obviously there's mom and there's my wife, but Lieutenant Uhura, man, she just popped into my damn, you're proud to the screen that I've never seen before. That's not the point.
Well, if it's that one, then it's got to be Jackie Jones. It's got to be Jackie Jones. Sorry.
I didn't mean to go there, ladies. I didn't mean
Sorry. I just want to draw back on something that George said, which stuck out in the comments, and it was in regards to the term strong women. And I really appreciate where he's coming from. Is that he was saying that strong women is something that he's kind of not tired of hearing, but I could kind of get the gist of where he was coming from. I just respect women. We're not always strong, and being weak or being vulnerable is not a sign of weakness. It's not. That's
down to us, man. That's down to us, man. Not supporting.
Yeah. So as much as we say, I admire a strong woman, could we just admire human beings? Could we just admire females? Could we just admire males and men? Please admire us when we are vulnerable. Please still admire us when we're all weak. And that goes for men as well. So I'm not going to look at a man who's crying or a man who's upset or grieving loss or has an upset as being a weak person. So I just want to make sure we kind of look at the vocabulary we use to describe each other, because that can make some of us feel a little bit insignificant or a little bit lesser of a person, because we're not always feeling strong.
Isn't you know what? It's good
it's true.
Because I mean the perception is the man is supposed to be strong. The perception is the man is not meant to cry. The perception is he is supposed to be a rock kind of like thing. But we are human beings, and we have all of these emotions, and we're supposed to feel all of them 360 degrees.
Absolutely. And rocks can be destroyed. Seawater, a little drop of seawater that penetrates a rock in the same place for 100 years will eventually make a hole in that rock. It will wear it away. And that's the unfortunately how men are actually living. They have that little drip of salt water that's tapping into them all the time that wears them away. So we don't expect you to be rocks all the time. Let's be
All the
fluid.
time.
No,
Yeah.
but let's be fair.
Go
I
with
like the fluidity.
Like that. Like
not-
that. Yes.
This is not something that I consistently hear coming from the black female, because there were terms like the whatless black man. Do you know what I mean? BMWs, black men are whatless, kind of like thing. That's why we like the BMW. Do you know what I mean? There was all of this. We'll have a couple. We'll have our girl, because when you talk about women coming together, girls used to always come together as far as I was concerned. Right? You always came together around the wine.
They communicate no matter what.
Right? And we were very much aware of the fact that the institution, especially when it came to work, was not allowing us to progress, which was no excuse for the man to come home depressed, right? And then exercise his power in the home. Hence, we start talking about domestic violence. Yeah, right. Yeah, because this is where I feel that this was coming from. I witnessed this from being a child in my own household. Yeah, my dad used to consistently come home and talk about training people who would rise above him. Yeah, then he would come at home and play the dominant king of the castle kind of like guy, right? Which ended up sadly in domestic violence. And it's something I grew up with. Yeah, but then at the same time, it was explained to me when my granddad came here, right, that the way that the masses used to treat them in terms of beating them, right, is where he was saying that was coming from, because then they would go back home and take it out pan. But then still, where we start talking about the strong black woman, in the sense that massa would then come in, take out your wife and go do what I want to do, and then bring her back home. Yeah, and then she's got to carry on like everything is normal. He's got to carry on like everything is normal. All of these pressures built up in us to the point when we start talking about thyroid, we start talking about prostate cancer. You know, all of these illnesses are coming from somewhere.
That's right. That's right. Emotional trauma. And it manifests in your body in many ways.
It does. Very much so.
It does.
Very much so.
You know?
I mean, I'm quite the opposite to you, Rudi, in that in our house it was mum that ruled the roost. She was the head of the family more so than my dad. But it was, you know, my dad, once he said something, he doesn't speak often, but once he said something, that was it.
Yeah,
it was just every so often he'd be there. But for me, I grew up learning that a strong man shows his feelings, whether it be tears, whether it be, you know, kind of being strong and having his say on something. When you've got a woman in the house who knows what she wants and how she wants things done. And it's about finding that balance. Because I have more respect for a man who shows his emotion than one who doesn't and hides it.
But then once again, I would say that that's the bravado that we grew up with. It was always that doors that the ladies would see the more softer side of a man than when his peer group is around it, because all of a sudden he changes. You know what I mean? But when you hear things like coming from your mum, wait until your father get to him. Wait until your father get to him. It's like
that never happens in our house. my house is the same as my house is the same as Astrid's. Yeah, my mum, my dad always used to say, "Lord, you wait till your mother come."
Yeah, I get that too.
For me, I hear what you're saying. For me, there was a lot of emotional turmoil there, because when we start talking about licks, because we all know about licks. Who gave out the most licks, dad or mum?
Mum.
Right, there's a difference. See, my mum was a disciplinarian, so her licks was licks with justification, like a genuine lesson was learned, and there was a conversation afterwards. So it wasn't just licks and then go and sit down. You know what I mean? It was there was a conversation that took place. My dad never used to, with me personally, my dad tried to domesticate me from a very early age, 12, 13. Go wash the dishes, go cook the food, go do this, go do that, go do this. And I'm like, all right, let's just keep it real. You are not raising me to take care of another human being. You're raising me to take care of myself, first and foremost. So when you're calling me from doing my homework or my schoolwork or my studying to come wash plate, Yeah, when I fail the exam, don't argue with me because I'm going to be a very good dishwasher upper. You understand?
That's a privilege.
A 15-year-old, right? You just sound like a feisty 15-year-old.
But you see what it is?
Mouth in the first place.
No,
that's a privilege, Lescha. It happened for me from we were 6. From I was 6 years old, my youngest sister was born when I was 6. And from I was 6, I was taught to do nappies. I was taught to do the cherry towelings. I was taught to clean up the house. So I was shopping at 8. I was managing my mum's budget at 8 years old.
How many mums are getting their children to do that today?
Well, personally for me, I was washing and ironing my old school uniform from when I was 8, 9, taking myself to school on a bus by myself. I had a Saturday job.
I hear you because you're talking about a generation where our parents,
so I can say that in our generation that has happened. So that not just for my generation, but the next one. We've got 2 generations past me.
Talk about our generation.
So our generation, as you say,
let me finish, please. Let's talk about our generation, and the way that our generation have brought up our children, right? And the way that they are conducting themselves today.
So that's what I was saying. In my family, our generation have gone forward. There's 2 generations following me. So our generations are definitely strong at telling their children what they need to do, how they do it. The boys, all the girls, they can decorate, they can do lots of things that would be seen as male or gender specific roles in the family or externally. We've given them a lot of life skills so that they can manage. I wasn't encouraged to drive as a girl, but all the girls who were of age all drive because it wasn't, from they were a very young age. You all need to have wheels, you all need to be mobile, you all need to be independent, and not be reliant on other people, and not in a negative way, just to kind of say, this is a way forward, the world is out there.
Yeah, my dad took me to look after my car. And
you, Aston, you've got children yourself?
I've got 2 children from our first marriage.
Yeah, and so I mean, what was the upbringing when it came to them in terms?
I just made them inclusive. I made them inclusive in anything that we was doing in the conversations. Even they would bring friends to the home, and we would have conversations they probably wouldn't have in their home. Like when they're 12 and certain, and they talk about boyfriend and girlfriend and all them type of thing there. And I'm telling them the straight. Look, you're gonna go through this up to like 25, and then you're gonna think, okay, then should I settle down or not? Because women think more serious about it, right? When they're like 15, 16, they want to say, I want a husband and all them type of things. So they think more deeply about it. But in reality, it's 25, between 20, 25 is when you start becoming the mature person and things. But at the same time, you got to make sure that you can cook and provide a good home so that when that person comes to you, you got some values. And I said, make sure they can match you in equal values as well. You understand?
Yeah.
And that's it.
Because I understand that on reflection, we all know the right thing to say.
Yeah.
I'm not pointing my finger at anybody.
No, I was very real in conversation with them.
I'm trying to point my finger. But when I look at my own generation around me and the way that some people have brought up their kids, some of them can't cook.
No, and that's it.
Some of them don't know. A skirting board.
They don't even know how to go and shop for good food to look for good food on the road.
This is what I'm saying. Know. So I'm saying that I feel that somehow, somewhere along the line, I'm not pointing my finger at anybody on the panel. I feel like we have dropped a baton.
Missed an opportunity to elevate our children to it.
I used to love like when at one stage I said, right, you lot got to do the shopping. And they said, what? And I said, right, here's a list. Because you've been in the supermarket many times, off you go. Right? And then they go off and I just walk behind them. right? And then they were just picking off the items off the shelf.
I walk behind them and I'm saying, you know what? You could have picked up those tin of beans that cost £6 less. Liam Brand, that's what I'm saying.
Liam Brand.
You know, watching the budget. You know, watching the budget.
No, but even like, I mean, we don't.
I really don't mean to cut you, Aston, but if you check the time, you can see that
literally. Oh, wow.
Wow. Credits throw.
We've literally run out of time. So would you guys like to wrap up, please? I guess we'll go with Juicy Jules.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. It's been really good. Thank you for the comments. Have a fantastic weekend. Blessings to everyone.
Lovely girl. Lovely. Astrid, Coach Astrid.
I was going to say, have a fantastic weekend and make sure that you're looking after you. Self-care is not selfish. It's a necessity.
Woo! Shots fired.
Self-care weekend.
Lescha, what would you like to say before the weekend's out, man?
I would just say that it's probably quite a testing time for quite a lot of people coming up to Mother's Day. So just bear in mind your friends who haven't got their mums around anymore, and then think about maybe a couple of people who don't have children in that respect as well, because we'll all be feeling a little bit left out in one way or another, or a little bit sad. So just extend your appreciation to everybody around you and value those people that have made a positive impact in your life. Go and say thank you to them. Give them their flowers now while they're alive, please.
That's right.
Hey, Aston, do you want to close it up, Aston?
No, I say, look, have a great weekend, right? Enjoy yourselves. Reach out to those that you haven't seen for a long time, because soon the summer's coming on, and we can do some garden parties and things are going on. All right, so
yeah, man. It's time to
no, it's true. Yeah, man. Remember, it's carnival season, So.
We be just here on street, the street in the street. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, right.
Ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic weekend. Please do catch us tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. We'll be seeing out. We called it International Women's Week. We didn't give you guys a day. We gave you the entire week on this platform. We'll be seeing it out with Audrey Scott, as well as the Rant and Bants crew. So please do check us out tomorrow at 10:15. My name is Rudi Lickwood. Thank you very much, Aston. Thank you very much, Lisa. Thank you very much, Julie. I'm going to ask you guys a question. Ladies, we'd love to have you consistently on the panel. Will you be here with us next week?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fantastic. Ciao.
Ciao.
It's a warning.
It was a cassette. You know when you had to put the pencil into the hole? Yes, man.
To submit to you as a man or a woman, or do I continue to walk the righteous path and serve God? That's a personal, individual choice of a human being.
Well, straight away, that's, red flag. BAME community, why? Are we the guinea pigs now?
I feel like when you are speaking up for yourself, it should be unapologetic and it should be honest. I think that we all.
So, for example, the West Indian community, there are many reasons why they may not, and you can probably tell me more than I know. But I think part of it is that they're being asked to trust the same structures that have also contributed to their discrimination, their abuse, abuse, their trauma.
Race. And I'm just thinking, well, there's more than that. I know just having no dad and having to work out what it means to be a black man in the UK was a very, very difficult.
And if you ain't got enough to do it in your family, get 2 or 3 families together and start a business. We've got to be thinking like that now, because unemployment is going to be right throughout our community now. Right?
She's saying bye, that means that 8:15 is gone, man. He's gone, man.
15 minutes with Rudi Lickwood and DJ Countryman.
I'd like you to say who you think Junior would more than likely want to do a duet with.
Oh, it's Dion Warwick in the top left, isn't it? I was trying to work out who he was then.
Is that Tina Turner as well?
Yes, that's
Tina
right.
Turner, Mary Jane.
Who you going for? Country?
Anyone we're out here picking.
She's going with Althea. Want to reveal? And wait, hold on. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Go.
Right. If I ever had the chance, unfortunately, I'll never get that chance. But it would have been Aretha.
I told ya.
It would have been Aretha.
No.
Okay.
That was a very
It's well done, Althea.
Saturday mornings, gonna be the same again.
Films. Films are a lot easier than theatre.
Right.
Film and television a whole lot easier than theatre.
Yeah.
I you mentioned that. I did a play once called Johnny Dollar. It was a reggae musical. And I used like Peter Onengale, Sylvia Teller, Toyin and the Curly, Winsome, Neville Morrison, Winston Reedy, the whole of the Lovers Rock singers. They never act before. And everybody was scared, but because of musical, they said, no, I need them for the music. And they can tell you, man, once them late into the play, it was one of the best play. When them late into the play, the acting, Peter Onengale, wow, he can tell you, stunning performance.
We love looking after young people and just basically helping them in their football development. The academies look after all the senior kids, all the elite kids, and we look after everyone else.
This is what gives me the most joy, watching them not being able to kick a ball, and then 6 months later they're able to do things they never envisioned them doing.
A lot of people are focused on the footballer, and then when the talent doesn't manifest in the way that the coach may like it, goodbye.
It's giving back to the community. I've been working for the community nearly all my life, and this is a big part of it, just giving back.
It's time to spice up your food with One Shot Marinade, the authentic Caribbean seasoning.
What did you have to do? It was essentially the male equivalent of a female beauty competition. Thousands came, for the final. It was just a really, really uplifting event.
I'd be up for it for a laugh.
Peter, you're silent.
You can't enter. You can't enter.
Shut your mouth, you. I don't want to enter. I don't need
you can't even see your feet when you look down to her.
Wow.
I don't know. We're running out of time. Wait.
Time. Red card. I must say, first of all, those who are on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to YouTube, our Anything Goes YouTube podcast. And then when we go live, you get notification.
not forget to subscribe, especially if you're on YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe. Subscribe, hit the button, subscribe, hit the button.
Alright, tell us now, what do you do, lady? Well, I'm actually unemployed, but you can see how far the flight channel will go just to find out what I do.